Welcome to Digital Asset News. We hit the top stories in cryptocurrency digital assets and break them down into bite-sized pieces. Before we get started, let's do a little housekeeping. First of all, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, a financial planner, or most of anything to do with finances itself. I'm just a small business owner that has a keen interest in digital assets and cryptocurrency. Secondly, to help this channel, and this is going to help a lot, if you could do one of three things, it is greatly appreciated. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and or comment below on anything specific related to this video itself. You don't have to do all three things, but one of those three is greatly appreciated and helps the channel tremendously. So let's get into it. So today we've got three different stories. The market, first of all, looks like it is dropping yet again. And in line with that, we have three negative sentiments. Peter Schiff, the gold bug, has a dooming prediction for millennial Bitcoin holders. Not surprising. That's pretty much what he says all the time. Trading legend Peter Brandt expects Bitcoin price to be at 5,500 after the halving in May 2020. And Ripple's partner MoneyGram doesn't hold any Ripple, or doesn't hold any XRP. Amazing. So let's get to it. First of all, Peter Schiff, my favorite guy. My favorite guy, always got a great prediction. So essentially what he says in a tweet, he states the good news is that all the millennial Bitcoin holders who are about to get wiped out in Bitcoin are still young enough to make their money back. They will also have a lifetime to benefit from the wisdom that comes from losing money and leaning, I think he means learning, from your mistakes. He also goes on to say that he's not an old fool. Schiff said that he wasn't an old fool that failed to understand the technology behind it. Instead, he took a jab at the millennial generation that keeps failing for the fraud. He also predicted that the price of Bitcoin would continue to go down despite the 2020 halving. So if I was a younger person who didn't really know how the world works, I'd look at this and go, wow, who is this guy that is so negative? Oh, Peter Schiff, well, what does he do? Oh, he's into gold. He's had some success with gold. Oh, he's done gold his whole life. Why would he recommend that? Maybe he's looking out for my welfare. Maybe he, as he talks about that gold has been around for thousands of years and there's no reason to question it or to look into the future. I'm going to go with what that guy says. You have to understand, everybody, just like Peter Schiff, has an agenda behind their story. So, of course, he wants Bitcoin to fail, he wants fiat to fail, he wants the economy to fail, and it's because he's a huge gold bug. Of course, that only makes sense. Now, if you are unfamiliar with him, and you just looked at that tweet, you might get a little bit scared, because remember, in my businesses, I do a lot of marketing, and there's two emotions that drive sales, and that is pleasure and pain, but the most important one, the most one that puts people through the doors and makes sales, is the pain or the fear. And Peter Schiff's a pretty good marketer at that. He plays that fear to a T. Very good at it, and that's why he's been successful with gold. Do I believe that gold actually is going to outpace Bitcoin? No. I believe it'll be around. It's been around for thousands of years. No reason why it's a go away now, but that's just what Peter Schiff says. I do like this statement here. Peter Schiff says Bitcoin is running out of buyers to keep the Ponzi going. We will see. I will tell you this though. When you have Fidelity, Bank of America, and different old legacy type of financial institutions looking into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptocurrency and starting to potentially offer it to their clients, I think there's more people who may be a little bit smarter and may be on the verge of technology a little more than Peter Schiff is. And I can see why they would want to do it. I can understand why Peter Schiff does the things that he does. Only time will tell. However, this is Peter Schiff. He has been railing on everything outside of gold since the early 2000s. And he even predicted that for the fail of the global economy would happen in 2015. Hasn't happened yet. We are still waiting. So Peter Schiff makes this fantastic prediction. So I'm going to put him on our TA Weatherman. And I call it TA Weatherman because there's two jobs in this world you can be consistently wrong at and still have that job. One is a weatherman and one is a technical analyst. So again, if you're in a TA and you're into trading, this might not be the channel for you. I just don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit and I don't think it works. So there may be times that it would, maybe in different markets, But in this market, it's so volatile and there's so many things going on and it's so small and manipulated. I just don't feel that you can make a good amount of trades for the majority of people. Now, there might be the 5-10% out there that maybe are successful, but it's not the majority. I do things a little bit differently, old school. I invest slowly and ride things out, but that's just how I am. So if you're a TA person, you can stick around. I'd love to have you. But just so you know, I'm going to be consistently talking about TA and not in a positive light. So let's put Peter Schiff on here. And his prediction was all cryptos to zero. This data prediction every day since 2015. And his time frame, whenever the bubble pops. And he talked about the bubble back in 2013, 2017. And he's going to talk about in 2020 when everything rises up again, 2020 and 21. Who knows? So he will be added, and we will keep looking back to see if he actually achieved this goal. We will see. But I do want to talk about some people that are way smarter than me. I mean, Peter Schiff's a pretty smart guy. Maybe smarter than me, I don't know. Tim Draper seems like a smart guy too. And he is on record as saying in 2021 to 2022, we're going to see a $250,000 Bitcoin. Now, unlike Peter Schiff, who mostly invests in gold, which is pretty safe, I'll give it to him, Draper, he's made his investments into companies like Hotmail, Skype, Tesla, SpaceX, AngelList, SolarCity, Ring, the company, Twitter, DocuSign, Coinbase, Robinhood, Ancestry.com, Twitch, and on and on and on. I'm sure he's had his failures along the way, but he's got a pretty good track record to see where not only the market's going, but where people are going and where technology is going. It's a pretty visionary guy. I like his approach, and we'll see which one is right moving forward. All right, on to the next story. More negative news. Trading legend Peter Brandt expects Bitcoin price to be at $5,500 after Bitcoin halving. Trading vet Peter Brandt doesn't think the upcoming Bitcoin halving will be immediately bullish for Bitcoin. And the article states, commodity trading vet Peter Brandt, who can boast more than 40 years of experience in the industry, recently opined, however you say that word, that Bitcoin could be trading at $5,500 in July 2020. This price point would mark the bottom of the long-lasting downtrend. And this is from Jacob Canfield. He tweets out, he says, I know we could see $5,500 personally. What do you guys see? Bounce or two in between there. And Peter Brandt says, yeah, $5,500 in July 2020. Great. This is the interesting part. Recently, Brandt outlined the rationale behind the aforementioned figure in his 100,000 ahead, but when and how video. His opinion is that Bitcoin could bottom around $5,300 in July. And then I haven't seen the video, but I'm assuming that in the next year or two after that, he's stating that it could go to 100,000. Great. But then on September 30th, after Bitcoin's dramatic 20% drop, Brandt predicted that the top coin could find a new bottom in February before a moonshot to 50,000. But it seems like the trading legend had to shift his target. Less than a month earlier, he suggested that Bitcoin price could have entered its fourth parabolic phase. So look, traders like Peter Brandt, don't know who he is, sounds like a legend, all respect to him, great. He knew a lot about trading, and I'm guessing other markets. Again, I just don't think that with cryptocurrency, as small as it is, as susceptible it is to whales and manipulation, and how things move so drastically on just a small amount of negative news, I just don't see how you can time it. I just don't. So maybe if he says, yeah, okay, in a year after the halving, maybe 100,000. I can see that. The technical analysis that I'm talking about is people are like, in the next 1 to 3 weeks, we can see this, so bet big on this. I cannot see that happening. Anyhow, I thought it was an interesting story, especially since, Peter Brandt, as good as he is, 40 years experience, he still has to shift his targets because things just didn't pan out. Moving forward to our last story. Ripple's partner MoneyGram doesn't hold any XRP. MoneyGram CEO Alex Holmes reveals that his company instantly sells all XRP it receives due to regulatory issues, which I thought, okay, I can understand that, because if there's regulatory issues with you holding on to XRP and you don't want to hold it, then you sell it. Makes sense to me. But there was something in this article that gave me pause. There was two things. I'm going to get to that in a second. But it talks about CNN International recently aired its interview with MoneyGram CEO Alex Holmes, where he explained why blockchain giant Ripple was the best fit for his struggling company. First of all, I had no idea that MoneyGram was struggling that much. This is, if you're not familiar with it, MoneyGram is one of those places you can go to for remittance or for cross-border payments. If you live in the States, want to send money to Mexico or Argentina or wherever else you want to do it, XRP is one of those places. However, the problem is high fees, and they have to pre-fund all these banks with actual cash or euro or peso, whatever it is, all across the world to make sure that there's money there when it does these 3, 5, 10 jumps across each bank across these borders to finally pay the person that you're paying to, which seems ridiculous to me in this day and age. Anyhow, I didn't know I was struggling that much, but apparently it's on the mend thanks to Ripple. So you know what? I wonder what would have happened to, let's say, Blockbuster, as they were having a downturn because Netflix was kicking the crap out of them. What if Disney came along and said, you know what? We want to get into this streaming service as well, but we want to take all your titles that you guys have and put them online, and we're going to team up and see what we can do. Sure, let's do that. Now you have an old style company with kind of like a new style company that's doing things, and they energize the whole market. And then what would happen with Netflix? I don't know, but it seems like that's kind of like what MoneyGram is. It's happening here. They were on the slide. They needed some type of technology to bail them out, or to really help, not bail them out, but to help them out. And it seems like Ripple did just that with its XRP and on-demand liquidity. So only time will tell, but I think it was the best move for them. It goes on to state why Ripple. Well, Ripple makes it easier and less expensive to transfer money across the globe with its on-demand liquidity solution. MoneyGram has a lot of liquidity and working capital positioned all around the world, and Ripple can transform this capability and transfer money with data. So imagine having to pre-fund all these different banks across the entire world, billions and billions of dollars that you have to just let sit there and do absolutely nothing. Because it's not like the banks are going to give them, I mean, hell, the banks don't give us as far as interest rates. So why would they give Western Union a good interest rate just to sit their money there? Probably nothing at all. Imagine taking back that billions of dollars and saying, well, we don't need that anymore. We're just going to use XRP and and the ODL, and we're just going to transfer money, and the fees are going to be much less. But we have all this money now. We can do way more things with it. In business, you have to have liquid cash. You have to have some kind of liquidity to either pay for things or do investments or do different parts of the business. And if you don't have it and things get tight, that's when problems occur. So if you can pull all that money back, imagine what MoneyGram could do with billions upon billions of dollars that they don't need to pre-fund everywhere. We will see. Anyhow, he goes on to state, it's incredibly complicated to move money across the border, Holmes said. Holmes adds that Ripple's ability to move money with data is magical, since it allows instantly transferring funds without any trapped liquidity. Look, banks, when you deposit money into banks, they essentially let you just park it there, do nothing with it, they don't give you any interest, rarely any interest, and then they make loans for it. They make mortgages, they make small business loans, they make other types of loans, construction loans, doesn't matter. Just loans like crazy, and they charge 5%, 7%, 12%. And what do you get for your money? You don't get jack. So imagine having this magical XRP. MoneyGram's like, wow, I don't need to tie all this money up. Maybe we can do something with it. Maybe we can do loans. Maybe we can do some type of investments. We don't need all these old school banks across the whole world. We have a new technology. And this is why that I'm a big believer in XRP and cryptocurrency at large. So only time will tell. We'll see. So again, thanks for listening to the rants. Thanks for listening to the news. And if you would be so kind, please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. I want to know what you think. Do you think, well, there's two questions I have for you. What do you think will be the next big breakout as far as cryptocurrency and digital assets? Which coin will it be? Which one will it be? And also, secondly, we've been doing videos now for a whopping 3 weeks, and it's been interesting, but we need some feedback. We didn't know what kind of videos are you guys mostly interested in. If it's technical analysis, we're just not going to do it. We just don't believe in it. However, if you do say something like, "Hey, we want to see like something about TA and how accurate it is," or "We want to compare TA predictions," then sure. Or do you guys want to see more things about different positive stories about Bitcoin, or how it all works, or what it's all made of, and how, you know, just like a not a how-to, but a what is this, a why and how type video. Doesn't matter. Just leave your comments below, and we will try to make those videos ASAP. Again, thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next one.